Well, welcome to another amazing episode of BookLab. I hope you have had a week full of learning and reading as well. And remember, we made an agreement, like we will be reading together, and it's not just us reviewing books, but you also getting to do your part so that we get on this journey together. And as promised, guys, today I'm not alone like I was last time. I am joined by my co-host, BP Mwangi, Kamakawa, Kamadawa. Right. And today we have one of our amazing panelists that will be joining us at BookLab. So she's going to introduce herself. I've known her for quite some time, right? It's up to now. We have known. Yes. But I think I introduced her to you.
Either way, but we.
All right. So, karibu sana on set.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm honored. Yes. So, my name is Lois Samuel, and I'm glad to be here, even as we review books. Knowledge is power.
Keeping it short and precise. Wow. That's what she does.
Short and sweet.
Yes, and Lois has been a friend of mine for a while, and we have done a few books together,
Yeah.
Majorly on matters relationships, which, if you didn't know, we are tackling right now as our monthly series. Probably we spill over to the other month.
Correct.
Of August, right? We are in July right now. So, Lois, before we even tell them which book we are covering today, what is it? Because BP and I always say that we are lovers of love. For you, once love is mentioned, what comes to your head? Or rather, relationships, what comes to your head?
Probably the main thing that comes to my head is God.
God. Oh, wow.
God is relational. He says that if we do not know him, we do not know love. So we cannot evade love. And love is good. I love love too.
Wow. I think that was...
we need to relax.
Yeah, when you think of love, the thing that comes to your head is God.
Yes, God is love. There's no love without God. Like, he's the ultimate.
Then I must be very carnal, maybe. when we talk about love, what comes to my head is girlfriend, wife.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Levels.
Levels.
So you can bet, guys, that we have brought the one on board, and we're also going to bring more. But for today, you guys are excited because we know what book we are tackling, and it's one that we are ready for. It's about that time, guys. And drum rolls, we are doing Gary Chapman's The Five Love Languages. And guys, you're going to be shown the book over here because, as we say, we pass across? Guys. We have the books at some point and then we pass it over to other people for them to read them. So Gary Chapman has written an amazing book, and maybe just a bio as we dig right into it. He's an American author. He's a senior associate pastor in a church in California. He's married. He's got 2 kids. And in 1992, it was when the book was first published. And I think it has been a major conversation in so many places. Love languages. Some of us with time didn't know, but with time we learned what they are. And I hope you're excited for that. If you haven't read the book, make sure you get yourself a copy and read it. It's important.
Exactly.
Right into it, Biffy. Chapter 1 of the book, rather the introduction.
So when he's talking about the introduction, he first of all gives us an idea of an emotional tank. And he says that, just like a car cannot go on empty, even us as human beings. Actually, psychologists have proven this, that we need to fill that emotional gap if we are to grow. And he gives an example. You see, if a child doesn't receive the love from home or from the society, the child tends to misbehave. And also, even for us, if that emotional tank is not filled, then there is a tendency to feel lonely, a tendency to feel unlovable, a tendency to feel like unwanted. But if we can feel that
void,
yes, that tank, then we are ready to go.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Probably what caught my attention in the introduction, he was talking of, sometimes you'll hear people say, I don't feel like my mom loves me. I don't feel like my husband loves me anymore. So he was trying to explain what exactly happens. There is the two stages of love that he was talking about. Probably that will be in the romantic relationships, but even in relationship between siblings, between a child and a parent, there is a need to be deliberate when it comes to love. Love doesn't come naturally, by the way.
Oh,
you
wow.
have to work on it. Like love is worked upon. And that's how he came up with the 5 love languages in how do we cultivate love? How do we speak love? Because different people perceive love differently. So we also need to know how to communicate it in a way they understand.
It's true.
And that stood out for me.
Wow. Yeah, and I just love the fact that he brings it out in a very simple way. Like just as a cow would need fuel, we need love. And I love the statement on the cover, which is quite the statement to guide us into the entire book and the depth there is in the 5 love languages. And he says that he's giving us guidelines on the secrets to love that lasts. So what of after the wedding? Yes, because that is actually, that's what he brings about in chapter 1 and chapter 2, and I think we have dived into it right well. Guys, remember, if you have a book, you can just flow with us, because these are things that you need to know. And even before we get to now the 5 love languages, we mentioned that there are different types of love, and they are sexual. Maybe let's use the terms that there is filial love, or we could start with the major one, which is God, because for life she said that God is
love
God.
Points me to God.
Yeah, exactly.
So agape love.
That is agape love, and then there is the eros love, and that is sexual between partners who are maybe dating, courting. And remember, we tackled that on the last episode, so if you also haven't watched that, the semantics of dating and courting, you can watch out for that. And then there is filial love, which is,
I don't know.
I think it's family.
It is, between siblings. I thought you would know, Paul. Unajua ni venye uko kwa hotspot. So tunaanza from filia.
The types of love.
No, tuanza tu filia. In 3, 2, 1. And then there is filial love, which is between siblings and family. So that's basically it. So in the book, Gary Chapman tends to, I feel like he's lying more towards the married people, and
dating leading into marriage and marriage itself.
Yes.
Well, probably it's important if we'd mention he did 2 editions. He started with the love languages for the married people, and then a lot of singles were reading the book, and they were he saw the need, so he wrote another book for the singles. But even in the singles, he's still kind of biased towards the married side.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I also believe, at the end of the day, when it comes to this context, the goal of any relationship is to lead into marriage.
That should be the case. Yeah.
So I believe also, the tendency to be biased towards the marriage, it was inevitable. He had to.
Okay. Well, but the other good thing is that he tries to broaden it to talk about children, between single parents and a child, maybe divorced parents. How do they relate? Workmates, co-workers, classmates, which again gave some, some depth to the book. Yeah.
All right. I think that's it. That's amazing. And let's now get to, because this is what people are waiting for. And even before we get to what Gary Chapman tells us in the book, would you allow me to ask what your love language is?
That's
a spotlight on us. Yes.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because for me, my primary love language is,
ladies. Just so you know, this is
drum roll, in case you are not
very unmarried.
She's very married.
So mine is words of affirmation.
Oh, wow.
I think words build or break me. When somebody tells me something nice, I am elated. I'm like, you don't me even to catch a bullet for you. You know the song?
No, I don't. Okay, I do.
But if you tell me something that seems like a mismatch for me, it breaks me.
All right.
So definitely.
To you, our very married.
Words of affirmation does it for me. It's my primary love language.
I think that's the first time I'm hearing that.
It is.
It's the same case for me. Like how people speak to you, does it break you or make you?
It does. It does. And I had to learn the hard way, because definitely in life, not everyone will be for you.
Yeah.
You have critics and all that. And I found that words were taking a toll on me. And after reading the book, that's when I discovered, oh, that's why words hurt me very much, because it's my primary language.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. And for sis over here,
the singles
department, mine is acts of service. And I think I have not mentioned that a lot, but because it's, I don't know, recently in church we were doing a certain series, on journeys of faith, and the pastor mentioned that we should be of service, not only towards God, but towards men as well. So for me, I was like, shouldn't people know that they should be of service to not only me? Okay, that's just my language.
No, we don't know. It's not our language.
Yeah.
We don't.
It's not. No. Wow.
It depends on the
Gary Chapman in chapter 2, chapter 3, sorry, now introduces us. It's like he's ushering us in to know the love languages, and he begins in chapter 4 with words of affirmation, which is you guys. Tell us maybe what you bought or you got out of the chapter in words of.
Sure. Well, words are everything. To a person whose primary language is words of affirmation, they need to hear you tell them everything, from the tiniest bits, that your hair looks nice, I love the way you walk, I love the way the dress looks on you, just appreciate them, the meal is nice, I enjoyed last night. You see, such things, words are everything to them.
Okay.
And the opposite is also true. If you say words that are not good to them, they will hurt the most. Because for them, like BP said, words either break or make them. So for them, words is everything. You need to notice. And if you don't notice, that's why you hear people complaining of, he doesn't appreciate me. My mom doesn't even appreciate me. What do they want to hear? They just want to hear you verbalize it. They don't want to.
Don't assume, like,
don't assume,
because maybe,
no, don't assume. I know you love me, but tell me. I don't want you to assume I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, basically, it's just that.
Yeah.
If you love me, don't assume I know you love me. Tell me if you think I'm handsome, which I am. Tell me. Don't assume I know I am handsome. Let me hear it from you.
Okay.
And the more I hear it, the more I know, surely this person loves me. Be it a parent, a girlfriend, a wife. Yeah.
And guys, that I totally agree, because it's in the book and it's definitely true from experience, but on the flip side, it might not work on other people. This is not in the book, guys, but like for me and my friends, definitely, most of my friends definitely know it. I'll be there thinking that you're just talking, I can't hear what you're saying, because it's not mine. So you need to learn, guys. You need to understand. Maybe just verbalizing it and not acting it, for me, would just be a waste of time. And if only you realize that, it will save yourself a lot of time and energy. Right?
And maybe we can look also at the flip side, because there are verbal words and there are the written words.
All right.
Do both work the same?
They both work the same.
They do.
You'll be killing two birds with a stone. For instance, if you bought me a card, you'll be giving me gifts, which is another language, and you'll be speaking because you write the words. So I'll be elated that you've given me a card, but I'll be over the moon because of the words in the card.
Hey. All right, guys.
The romantic terms, over the
moon, elated. I hope you're getting them tips. And it's true, though. It's true.
Actually, there's a movie I was watching, and so this guy meets a girl in the bush, reading, and then they start conversing.
I know
and
that
how
movie.
They converse is through
cards.
Yeah, they write each other some cards. So I'm also thinking, if you're shy enough and you can't, speak them, you can write them. And stick the note somewhere.
It's true. And the most amazing thing is when you can actually read the tone in someone's writings, because you already know the person.
Yes.
Like, I could read the tone in a message, which I mean, it's amazing.
Especially, probably even parents. You see, sometimes we have strained relationships between parents and children. As a parent, you might find it odd. How do I take the initiative to reach out to my child? And I want to speak, and I need to speak words. Do some sticky notes in their lunchbox as they go to school, in their homework book, where you've left their shoes. They will read it, and then they will hear as if you're speaking to them as they read the words.
So it's not only in the movies. Sticky notes pale kwa fridge, yeah? Oh wow. Gary Chapman continues in chapter 5, and this one maybe it's not for us, but it's still there. It's probably a love language for some people, and this is quality time.
Yeah. Now, when we're speaking about quality time, you know, as I read the book, I realized that quality time is not just being physically with a person. You know, you're just seated there. You know, quality time is much more than that. It's spending intentional time with a person.
Okay.
Because
you might be present, but you're not there.
Yeah, you're physically present,
but you're mentally absent.
Maybe I'd add something on that. It's my secondary language. Okay. So before my marriage, we used to definitely go out, but I'd complain we're not spending time. Why? Because we went out for dinner. All we did was eat, then go home.
Yeah.
We didn't spend time. We ate.
Together.
I needed time where you look at me and tell me things. Okay. Undivided attention. But sometimes we went out. We were even more than one couple. So it was just eating and then we went home. So that does not equal quality time. It doesn't.
I think that is quantity time.
Quantity, not quality.
Wow.
Quantity time, but not quality time.
There has to be undivided attention. Alikuwa nasema utasikia complaints because siameelezea how do you do what? How do you know your love language? You listen also to the complaints.
So the complaints can lead you to the love language.
Yes.
Come back again.
So we take it back from how do you realize? So how do you realize now that person's love language? Because maybe it's quality time and you don't have an idea. Do you dig into it, maybe analyze the person? What is it, as per what Gary Chapman says?
Well, mostly you'll find Gary was explaining how to know a love language. It is from what that person will be requesting or from what that person will be complaining about. You hear a spouse say, my husband never spends time with me. Yet they're in the same house. But this person does not want to share a meal with them, just to take the kids to school. This person wants them to sit down and talk, undivided attention. Also request, that person may make a request. Would you mind we go take a walk? Would you mind we go for a movie? They're not after the movie, they just want to spend time.
Exactly. So it's also initiative, and it means sacrifice. You have to be there and to be willing to go all the way.
Yes.
All right. In chapter 6, which is the third love language, we talk in receiving gifts, which is my secondary, by the way. And you know, it's a bad stereotype or notion that guys are always the ones to give gifts. But we were talking earlier on, if you guys remember, and we were saying that what if the guy's love language is receiving gifts and you're there expecting to always be the one receiving gifts?
I also think maybe it's a cultural thing, especially in our times where we have made it like the norm. Guys are the ones who take the ladies out.
They're the ones to buy flowers.
Buy flowers. But like you're saying, at the end of the day, it could be the vice versa. Maybe the ladies' love language is words of affirmation, and for the gent now it's the
gifts,
the receiving of gifts.
Yeah.
So I think we need, like Lois said, we really need to listen and observe the other party, so that we can understand what is the primary love language for this person.
Yeah.
And maybe I think we also need to address gifts does not equal money.
Oh, wow.
Isn't
Okay.
it? So a gift can come in any other form. I can buy you a shoe.
Yeah.
I can buy you a dress.
All right.
I can,
as much as it needs money, it doesn't have to be money.
It doesn't have to be money.
Yeah.
I think that is a stereotype we need to address in the relationships of the 21st century.
Very true. But the other good flip side of it, if the guy is the one that whose love language primary is giving gifts, Gary was saying that you express love in your language because that is what you know most. So if BP, your language is words of affirmation, you'll be expressing words to her. yet it's not her language.
Yeah.
So the guy will be giving gifts to the girl, expecting to receive gifts. So if the lady is able to pick the cue, she may be able to reciprocate in gift giving, probably unknowingly, just to give gifts also, and then in turn speak the language. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. So guys, as you read the book, you will realize that you also tend to think outside of it. You get to have ideas from that. You grow from that, and this is what BookLab is about. Yeah, even as we give hope to people out there, like I said last time, there is love. Love is real. It's existed because God is real. Yeah. Okay. Love language number 4, which is acts of service. My primary. Yeah. This is what like I if I said it earlier, I don't remember. The simplest of things that show you care. Like, maybe my hair is, you guys probably can tell I have dreadlocks on right now. If there is something holding on to it, yeah, you don't have to tell me, yeah, it's beautiful or not, but come remove that thing. I mean, directly or indirectly, you've communicated love. So I don't know how you understand it from Gary Chapman's view, but that is how I pick it up. The smallest little bit, yeah.
So that's basically it. What is the smallest thing you can do for a person to show you care? Maybe probably for me, I don't recall. I think it's language number 3. But you know, there's something small you can do for me, and I'm like, wow, that person really cares. So I think again, you just have to be observant.
Yeah.
See.
Learn.
Yes, learn. If that is your partner's language, see what you can do that can fit into that context.
It's true.
As you talk about acts of service, probably I was thinking it in these terms. These people may come out as nagging, because I always want you to do something for me. If you give me the opportunity to verbalize it, will you wipe my shoes for me? Would you mind taking the trash out for me?
Yeah.
Would you mind accompanying me to this? I may come out
like
as nagging person,
yeah.
like I'm lazy, I just want people to do things for me. Yet that is the way I feel loved. I don't know how we can address and help that.
Most times, actually, it's not like I can do that thing for myself. I can draw the trash. I can actually make myself a good meal. But you coming in to actually make the meal, I mean, that communicates more love. But again, on the flip side, what you said, like if I tend to cook for you more, if I tend to take out the trash and show you on your face, this is me taking out the trash, yeah, maybe it will communicate to you that is my love language and that's what I need to be done. Again, intentionality.
Then where do we draw the line?
Wow. Where do we draw the line?
Again, especially, let's take the case of a family setup. There are those things that we grew up knowing dad tasks. Like
mom task, yeah.
Dad should change the bulb, dad should come repair the fence, dad should do this. Yet, probably, he's not able to speak in that language.
Yeah.
We make them speak in a language they are not able to. And if they don't, probably we look at it as being irresponsible if they don't know how to speak in that language. Probably they would be better off you doing it and then affirming, because their love language is words of affirmation.
All right.
Wow, imagine in such a scenario where the husband is short and the wife is tall.
The bulb needs to be changed, but to leave some vitu za stima tuachie. You guys. I think that's the act of service. So learn the simplest things that make a person believe that you care and actually love them. And finally, physical touch. Now, here is where the debate. It's heated because physical touch, and I say this with all confidence, but also at a point where, if corrected, I would appreciate, does not equal to sex.
Exactly.
It doesn't.
101% agree.
But you know, when we speak of it as such, I remember the first time when these languages I was taught these languages.
Yeah.
The moment that person said physical touch, the thing that came to my mind was sex. But then I thought about it. Now that I'm not married, how do I express physical touch as a love language?
I mean, it's the smallest of things, yeah? Holding hands as we walk. That is physical touch, yeah?
A tap on the back.
Oh wow, yeah,
Yeah.
like affirming.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
It's not even your language, guys.
Just be careful.
All right.
Oh,
So
like just rubbing my shoulder. Probably we even workmates.
yeah.
As you pass along, you
Yeah.
just rub my shoulder. That person is communicating love. Yeah.
Endearment hugs. That's where I want us to go
The
to.
famous handshake. You see, when people are not shaking hands, like we come, we just, pass each other like trains. Anybody looking at us will see that these people are not in good terms. But the simple act of shaking hands, we are communicating that love. Yeah, we are not enemies, we are friends. Imagine. As simple as that.
As simple as that. So it doesn't have to, it actually doesn't equal to sex. And guys, this is a realization that we need to have all holistically. And now people will start going into details. What type of handshakes are you talking about? Because now there are people who make it so awkward. Yeah, I remember a time back then when these love languages were introduced to us, because mostly I had it when I was a teen. You probably had it while you were a teen. And people would like be shaking your hand but doing funny things inside that handshake. If it's like hugs, it's an endearment hug. But now people, I'm sure you've heard of the one-sided Madhogodhanyo hug. What do you call it? I had you give it another.
Hot sufuria.
Oh wow.
And they're so common.
They are there, but maybe it's because that person knows this is where I draw the line. So if you shake my hand longer than 3 minutes, 3 seconds, what are you doing? What is happening?
But again, you see, there are those people who greet you and they're like, they don't want to release that hand. And probably my love language is not that. So it will be quite awkward.
And that's where Gary was talking about appropriate and inappropriate. That is physical touch, explicit and implicit physical touch. Again, it boils down to our culture. For instance, it's not common in the African culture for us to greet each other, hug, pecks, and all that. But in the Western countries, that is so common. So it boils down to where did you grow? What is the culture that is accepted? Again, you need to know that because you may want to express love and that person takes it in an offensive way.
It's true.
Yeah.
And that is not what we are about here at BookLab. We are not trying to. Yeah, you could be going out there hugging people so dearly and their spouses are standing right next to them.
Now let's address that for a minute. Now that you're married, if your language is physical touch, how do you make sure you receive that wholly from your husband and not from, because like me, I would come and hug you and your husband is like, you're comfortable with it, but your husband is like,
not. I think again that is where once you understand each other, once you know my wife feels more loved where there is physical touch, I think that is a point of the husband doing the extra job to ensure that the wife will not go looking for that elsewhere.
It's met by him.
It's met by him. So I think it's a point of understanding what your spouse would love and what they would not love.
Wow.
Again, agreeing, because there are those that are okay with, if you hug my wife, I'm fine. There are those that are like, she's my wife. Off limits. Yes.
Communication, guys, and it's important we do. So that's it for the 5 love languages. But surprisingly, Gary Chapman doesn't close it at that. Now he goes ahead, which I feel were important chapters of the book, not only to fill up and have more words, but also to like put it as icing. Is it icing on the cake? Yeah. And he now goes ahead to tell us to discover our love languages. And I think it's proper that we have, and to our viewers, have you discovered your love language, because it's very important, so that even as you realize, like in chapter 10, love is a choice, love makes a difference. In chapter 11, loving the unlovely. You stated something like there are some people out there who are just unlikable. They are unlovable. Like in Kenya, maybe if you're watching this from outside, there is something with Kenyans. They say, my blood not connected. So if your blood is not, I don't know how that works, by the way. Doctors should tell us.
It's not true, because Gary says at the end of the day, all humans have a love tank. And all humans need love. Yes. So even that person that is
so much
unlovable, they are still lovable. You only need to identify what thing it is that you do they feel loved most.
Yes.
Everybody is lovable. You only need to know the correct way to fill their tanks.
I think I cannot dilute that, can you?
That is
that is
at its peak.
At its best, yeah. So you can actually love the unlovable and the unlovely. Just identify what love language they have, or which it is. And he closes off with a personal word, and for me, I would give it like, BP doesn't like when I give books 10 out of 10 because, but I didn't see any error in what he says. It's what I needed, and I have very much benefited from knowing these 5 love languages, because I know sometimes I will look at a person and there is no need of me wasting a lot of money doing DIYs, do it yourselves, and building blocks, and while I could have only communicated a word. Yeah, so it saves us, and it's important. I don't know what your closing remark is, BP, for the book.
I think the book is rich, and I mean, even if you're yet to know your love language, you can go to online. There's the 5 love languages test.
Yeah.
You can answer,
and it's actually true. It works.
Yeah, it works. Actually, if you look at it and you confirm the answers, you'll see it being reflected in your life. So if you're yet to know your love language, go online and and take the test, and start loving better. And also, there's something you mentioned about love being a choice. Love is a choice, and even the people you choose to love is a choice. But remember, God has commanded us to love everybody. So at least, even in the people who are in your sphere that look unlovable, kindly identify their love language, and then start loving them appropriately.
All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Lois, to you.
Thank you. The good thing is that the languages don't apply to people in romantic relationships only. You can save the relationship between you and your siblings, you and your parents, you and your workmates. You need to identify why this boss is always shouting. Probably because you dropped a paper. They need you to pick it up because they are speaking acts of service. So go do your homework. Know what love language to speak with those that are close to you, what you speak yourself, so that you may better understand how you're receiving love. And yes, like I began by saying, love is all about God. When we have God, we have love. He will help us to love each and every person, even the unlovable, because they are lovable. So for me, the book is 10 out of 10. I will not remove anything from that. It's an interesting book for anybody.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want to give us your scale?
My scale?
10 being the best, 1 being the worst.
Let me give it a 9.
A 9. You'll probably tell us why in our next segment, because guys, we are not gonna have Lois for only this session. We hope to see more of her soon. I'm sure you will love her. And that is it from us, guys. Thank you for joining us and tuning in. Make sure you follow us on our social media pages. It's Wema TV on Facebook, Wema TV on Instagram, Wema TV here on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. Leave us a comment. Let us know what it is you want us to talk about, the books you want us to review, and thank you for the recommendations as well. And yeah, that's it from me. See you in the next one.
Go ahead.